Two-tone and L-E-L-N-E-S-S-N. Yes, we are the very best.
$7 popping collars, eating shrimp, $5 met some girls from Guatemala, now they trying to holler.
Now before they wouldn't bother, now I'm trying to be a scholar, cause she giving all the knowledge to me.
Knowledge to me.
Doing homework every night of the week. Like she chillin' up at college with me.
College with me, but we cruising, man. Rolling up at 430. Kush, same color as a Kobe Road jersey, or a throwback worthy. Giraffe ass high, fresh breeze just passing us by. Cause I'm cruising on a Sunday afternoon. I got my good shoes on, ain't got no bad news. Here's what you say to the lady. Let me squeeze you, oh, let me hold you, oh, let me squeeze you, oh, let me hold you. Why? Cause I don't wanna leave this party, baby, without you. What you waiting for? Hop in the ride.
Okay.
What you waiting for? Hop in the ride. I arrive at a party at 9. I reside beside Sim. Think when we fly, time's on our side. But look again, then it's 11 p.m. Chalk it on the board. Time to sin. Let's begin. Hey, you kinda cute, and I got the loot to befriend both you and your girlfriend too.
You single Tim Jones?
Well, that depends. Just then she turned to a friend and she said,
I really like him.
Say word.
I really like him.
Oh yeah.
I really like.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on the platform of JCT TV in the house of none other than that #1 station in all of Connecticut, BCC TV. We want to start off by giving a great big shout out to the dynamic duo of Al times Al, and that's Big Al Coles, the chief engineer, and his partner, Al. With that being said, I'm going to jump directly today into the subject matter of clarity as it applies to love. So clarity and love. And I'm going to take it and throw it directly into the lap from my right, your left out there in TV land, of none other than the lovely Jatrice Godley. And also we want to welcome aboard none other than Mr. Francisco.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? How's it going, Francisco?
Oh, life is great. How about yourself?
Oh, good. Now, clarity on love. I think when I think of that, it's a certain level that you actually reach yourself and you realize how much love you have, how much you have for yourself and for others. That's what I actually think about with clarity on love. What about you, Francisco?
Well, about love, there's so many different versions of love, from family to relationship to community or your employment, wherever you go. So as far as having clarity, you have to know exactly what you're passionate about and how you really want to proceed and go forward. Because where your heart is where your passion is. And that is what provides clarity as far as clarity of love goes.
Wow. Clarity, we've been having this discussion for a minute, and I believe that if you are interested in anything, I was speaking to a gentleman en route here today, and he said something profound that I've heard a million times, and he was a younger fellow, so, you know, it really it's pleasing to hear it. And he said, wherever your attention is, that's where your cash flows, you know what I'm saying, or that's where your success flows, and that is the truth, because what you feed grows. Mm-hmm. And what you deny or refuse to accept, it becomes unrealistic and it vanishes from your personal life.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for love, then be clear on the fact that you're looking for love, and love will begin to grow because you will feed it. And I'm sure we'll get to that at some point in this conversation today. Jatrice?
Yeah, I believe in that. I believe in the fact that you having to seek. And to me, it's more like you are going on a journey. So you'll be able to fall in love with certain things. All depends on what it is as you're actually whether it's a self-discovery or like I've said before, the other thing would be having to learn and understand each other when it comes down with you and the other person.
Right. And that also ties it to unity and understanding. Because with that being said, if you could talk to about whatever you're talking about, but if you both don't understand each other, you don't have to agree. You just gotta understand each other, and then you could see if you want to agree and be unionized. Otherwise, you're not gonna really get anywhere, and then there'll be lack of clarity, which is not good for any form of love or relationship.
It's interesting that you should use that term, understand, because love is the highest elevation of all understanding. Right? And that's the only way that you can truly say that you love someone, love yourself, or love anything, is that you have to understand that thing. Through understanding grows true love. Patrice?
And when, with that being said, it's actually having to, for you to be able to understand, you need to learn. You need to gain the knowledge. You need to be able to have that clarity of the understanding of why you may love something, why this person may love something, what brings them happiness and joy, besides getting up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then on that note, in order to learn, you have to be open-minded and not be so judgmental based upon how you feel about other things that may relate to the topic. And that's why before you're quick to respond, you got to be open-minded and get a full understanding so you don't look uneducated.
I like that. You know, one of the scriptures that always comes to mind when you think about love is that scripture that most people misunderstand when it says, to love your enemy and pray for them to despitefully use you, right? A lot of people like, but how do you want me to love them? They're not talking about in the love as you would love your spouse or you would love your parents or siblings. They're talking about understand your enemy. Because if you understand them, you know how long the handle must be in order to feed them with.
That's why they say keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer.
That's right. That's right.
Because you want to know how the enemy works. You want to study them, learn how they tick, what it is that they do, everything from their day-to-day to their basic routine, everything. You want to know as much as possible, so that way you actually have a clear understanding of how they work.
Absolutely.
But on that note, you don't want to take too long either, because the more time, the more damage you could be hurting yourself. And depending what the topic relates to, it may not be worth it. So that goes back to judgment. You got to have a better understanding with your critical thinking skills to be open-minded when you're doing it.
I like that because it's something that I live with, and that's, the term of don't get bogged down in paralysis of analysis. So I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Jeez, go ahead.
No, because it kind of got me curious. How is me studying my enemy causing me to derail from myself?
Interesting.
Right, because the more you go, like say you go out for lunch, the more you keep doing jobs with him and say they're not paying you fair or milking your time, whatever the case may be, that's a form of hurting yourself. I could have been doing something more productive. I keep wasting my time here, depending how it's going.
But if I want to succeed and outdo my enemy, I need to study my enemy so I can outdo my enemy. So how's that waste?
Hold on. Very interesting. Hold those thoughts. And we're going to go over to some coverage and see what they thought at the M&M platform. And we'll be right back live here at BCC TV. A special shout out to Corey down here at the staff of M&M TV and all the other cats and guys out there too who are in the house today. Annie, Jeanette, Lucy. Saw Zach around here earlier. But with that being said, to my right, your left out there in TV land, I have none other than the outstanding co-host today, none other than Jatrice Golly. And she's sensational. We're going to be jumping right into the episode called Love Sense. And we'll be actually covering the subject matter today of clarity in love, however that is or what it means. To whomever. Let's throw it directly into the lap of Jatrice Golly and see what it tells her and what it makes her feel.
So when I actually hear the word clarity and for love, I'm thinking that you actually have perspective.
Interesting word. You
Yeah.
want to break that down for the
So,
folks?
so pretty much, you actually have an idea of how you want to actually be in a relationship with someone, or have an idea of how the dynamic should work between the two of you.
Okay.
Another thing is having clarity of yourself, having to love yourself. I mean, that's the whole point of love sense, right?
Okay.
So it's having to have some sort of reflection and understanding. So you pretty much, I've told a lot of people that you when it comes down to learning about yourself is never ending. You're always going to seek out or find certain things about yourself, discovering yourself all the time on a daily basis.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we are so glad to have you, and we can't ever thank you enough, so I do my best to mention it as often as possible. Without you, there'd be no us. We left off at a confrontational point of understanding, so I want to jump directly back into that. They were talking about time factors and analyzing where you are and how you're doing what you do. So go ahead, Patrice.
So, like I said, I don't see how it's derailing myself if I'm actually trying to understand. If I'm going in a competition or a race, and it turns out that I got a rival, I want to know and understand my rival so I can outdo my rival. I mean, I'm in it to win. So how is it a waste when it comes to studying them?
Oh no, good question. Every situation is different, so. Excuse me. So I'm going back to procrastination. You don't want to waste too much time, because time, resources, money, whatever it pertains to, you don't want to be drained too much, because now you got the plan of attack and then it may not work because you wasted too much time and too many resources. So it depends on the situation. You just got to use your judgment. Back to what I said about critical thinking skills and know for yourself, because every situation speaks for itself. You can't compare one to the other. So that'll be for you to decide when you analyze your situation.
I'm going to toss that right back at Patrice. Go ahead, Patrice.
Now, like I said again, if my critical thinking, my subject is pertaining to my rival, then I need to know, so that way, like I said, I need to outdo them. So that means we're on the same thing, we're on the same subject, we're on the same page. It's just that how is he actually going to be able to outdo me is the question. How is he going to be able to beat me? How can I win of what we're going for? That's the thing. So again, it's not a waste, not procrastinating. The only way I could be procrastinating if I'm not doing anything, but I'm doing something, which is knowing and understanding my rival, my enemy, to be able to outsmart them, outwit them, and win.
Again, good point. I'm not saying you're wrong, but the part you're still not understanding, it depends how long you take, because time itself is a key factor. Because by the time you can figure it out, he could already outsmart you, be one step ahead of you, as you're trying to figure out what they're doing right now. So it depends what kind of a tactical, logical thinker you are, as opposed to getting information or using money, resources. It goes back to how good your judgment is.
Hold on. I'm going to grab this at this point because I want to redirect y'all into the time factor, right? Time became an important issue, right? And then you came up with resources as being a method, right? But the thing is, I want you to start off with this conversation and tell me what are some of the methods that you would use in assessing your enemy in order to decipher whether or not, you can win or not.
Well, one of my methods would be being in stealth. What that means, I don't necessarily have to hide in plain sight. I can just having to be inconspicuous and observe my enemy. And then on top of that, maybe have a couple of devices where I can be able to hear them. But it's just me and me alone, unless I got somebody to partner with. Then I can understand. Be like, all right, you be able to do it on this couple of days, find out about this, while I'm probably working on something else.
Same question to you, Mr. Ramos.
Good point. That's one good tactic. Another tactic I would do. So say it's like Monday, the weekend is over. So that we're going for a quick lunch before you get back to work. Before I say anything, put myself on the spot, I would still act like I'm on their side. And still, buy lunch or whatever for the moment and see if there's some questions, some information I can get out of them pertaining to how serious the topic may be. And if towards the end, and if I know I can't get anything, then I'll try a different tactic. So we go back to the office and go from one step to the next.
So the term you used was stealth.
Stealth.
Stealth. Okay, so taking those two terms, right? Stealth and observation, I think that you use as one of your key terms, and the term information. Because you're saying that you are collecting data, right?
Yeah, collecting
and
data.
you're saying that you are just being observant. How will you take those two methods and actually come to some type of conclusion?
Well, like you said, I'm going in stealth. You saying he's collecting data. That's pretty much the same thing for me to be in stealth mode. I'm collecting. Me having to observe and know what my enemy is doing. I'm collecting that information for myself to be able to use for what I need to do.
For your benefit.
Yeah.
All right, you got 15 seconds.
Okay, so then what I'll do too is maybe I'll agree to one quick thing just to get this other thing I need to help achieve my plan, depending what type of situation it is. But again, so I gotta know that for myself after I analyze everything I'm able to get from him.
All right, we're going to jump off of here for a few minutes, and we'll be back as we continue to make the determination here. Clarity.
Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Jatrice for JCTV, and I am about to actually introduce you to my favorite segment of all times. Good to go, no go. It is one of my favorites, and we always have happened to enjoy very much. And now I actually going to bring on my good man, my good friend, Papa T. How's it going?
Good. She's definitely right because, we've had so many segments, over the years. But the thing is that when this part came on, she became a totally different person. The face just lit up, the smiles came, and I was like, okay, she getting ready to chop somebody up. And they used to call her the female Simon Cowell, right?
Yeah.
Because she was hard on them. But we've had live artists, and we've had tracks.
Yep.
And we've had CEOs from other record labels and so forth come down. And the folks actually give a honest assessment as to what's really going on as far as the music in their own opinions.
Right.
There's usually three of you on the panel, right? And they actually tell the truth, whether it's good to go or no go.
Yep.
Either the music is hot or it's not. And sometimes it's hot, but it's not good. You guys will chop it up.
Yep.
Right? So what we're going to do right here, before we even go any further, we're going to leave this platform, and we're going to actually go over to some of the sounds from the past. And we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. So stay right there. Don't touch that dial. I had to fix this thing. This thing has almost been falling out since the end of the last segment. And I was thinking, it's getting ready to fall. Okay. Yeah, we good, Corey. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're back here on the platform of Good to Go, No Go. And I think that this is going to be something that delights the folks. We actually have a tour that's breaking off from this actual television show. We're selecting certain folks to go along with us that actually has been a part of the Good to Go. Because, you got good to go and you got no go, right? But, even when we send the people away as a no-go, it's always been a thing that don't give up your craft. We're not saying you're no good. We're saying just you need to work on some things.
Yep.
So you're getting a personal assessment, but from pros, right, that actually can help you to increase in the knowledge of your craft, and therefore increasing your craft, because we earn according to what we learn. That's why you never stop learning, and always be willing to hear something positive, about your craft and so forth. But with that being said, I'm going to toss it back to Jatrice and let her tell you about her experiences, on the panel of Good to Go, No Go.
So
And what you can look forward to.
So to me, it's more like I'll sit there and listen, and if it and sometimes me having to listen the first time, there are going to be times where you might actually see right off the bat that I may not like it. I may actually just trying to actually see if there's something I can get out of it. I end up creating a video in my head over the music. On top of that. So I'm actually gonna be like, okay, I'm hearing. All right, it's a rarity for me to sit up there and say that I like something, or the fact that it's original, because most of them are certain music that actually is you're sampling from.
Okay.
Because at that time it was, the big thing of sampling from other artists and everything like that.
Okay.
And to me, like, it's okay if you know.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, hello, ladies and gentlemen, everyone. Welcome back to BCC Television. Mr. Ramos, so Papa T has left the panel now, and we're gonna get back straight to the topic of how it looked to decipher whether the enemies are your side or not. But back to what I was saying before. So now, in order to be able to know if the person's on your side or not, it's just a matter of knowing. So kind of act like you're on the side a little bit. Not too much, and then don't give in too quickly. And then that's also going back to clarity of love, to really know if the person is for you or it's not for you, and if they're really your friend in any way, shape, or form. But I'm going to pass it over to Jatrice, and what do you think?
I think clarity on love, like I said, it's the fact of knowing and understanding love to you and or the person that you're with, and understanding the levels and you guys are actually going to be on. Because I always consider that the fact that you're on a journey, when it comes down to love, it's the fact of having the clarity of self-discovery and reflection between either yourself or the person you're with.
Well, actually, no. You reminded me of something, right? So when you're discovering, you always want to make sure you're honest with yourself. Because I've heard of stories where people would just, do it for the looks or the money, whatever it is, but then you're not being honest with yourself. And then it's going to become harder to negotiate and have fun with the other person. So you always want to be honest when you're discovering.
Mm-hmm. And JD, how's it going?
As
Welcome.
it's always, thank you, my brothers and sisters. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating to hear that you're all discussing clarity and love. And as we all know, clarity is to always know, to have a knowledge of self, as she was saying a while ago, and to understand self. And to love someone, it's also a principle, which is do unto others what you'd like to do to yourself.
Wow.
And if you love someone, you'll always want to be on the level of truthfulness, kind, loving, but it's also a principle to me. Love is a principle that it comes with action. And the action manifests itself in what you do for the person.
Yep.
And in not only words, because many times people use that, it's so common, I love you, without no manifestation of the meaning of love. And I truly see love as always something that manifests itself in the way you treat each other.
Right, and that goes back to the same thing, treat others the way you want to be treated. And then also part of it, you got to be mature, because when we're discovering something, analyzing things, or being with certain people, you could be honest, but you may not see certain things you don't like, but then you got to be mature. Sometimes you don't hold back and don't react too quickly, because you don't want to offend the other person either. But what do you think, Jatrice?
Well, I think when it comes down to it, it's how you're able to express it. Because what people, when it comes down to that word love, they are more about wanting to show it, to be able to actually add the words to it. Because they say action speaks louder than words. You actually have to go ahead and move forward in doing something about it, and having to show that person how much you really care. And once you actually say, I love you, then it's like, okay, yeah, I see that. I see how much you do,
Right, but on that note, how no one really likes to pay up or do the job, and it can be about anything. So for the person to say, I love you, and a lot of people are hesitant about that. And it could be about any form of love. Because remember, it doesn't have to only be about relationships, family, your job. It could be about anything. How most people don't like to pay or do the job or be the mature one, like I said before. So it's a little contradictory when it comes down to that too. Because no one likes to pay up or pay it forward.
Yeah.
But what do you think, JDX?
It's a fact, because I mean, as you guys talking, I was just thinking of something I learned when I was growing up, especially in the church. They were teaching us the 3 points of love, which is agape, phileo, and eros, right? And in all 3 of them, they have definition, which they say agape is the love of God towards man, the manifestation of the Creator towards us. Phileo is an emotional love that you show expressed with a feel, and the eros, which is the sexual love of a man and a woman. So love has a lot of definition, and if you have to really understand love, you have to come to the knowledge of what it means to really love. And I truly say, to love, it first comes with you loving yourself, because if you love yourself, you will never do nothing to others that you don't want to do to yourself.
Well, to add to that, not to get too much into the religion aspect, but God does say, get married before you make out, have sex and all that, to avoid any type of diseases, sicknesses, etc. So that's why you have to really make sure that's the one that you really are interested in. So going back to the general concept of clarity of love, you just really want to, don't react too fast and analyze the situation and know for yourself, be mature and always be honest about it. So this way you will know for yourself. And any last words, Patrice?
I say, in order to love anyone else or spread love, you have to love yourself. So that way you're able to spread the positivity of love.
Yes, and thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We appreciate your time for tuning in to BCC Television, and we'll catch you guys next time. God bless.